It's campaign season again, and everybody is talking about tax reform. It happens every campaign, and yet the taxes aren't reformed. To talk more about that is Jerry Cantrell, the president of the New Jersey Taxpayers Alliance. I know you deal mostly with New Jersey state taxes. I want to ask you to just deal with federal a little bit, and then we'll get into New Jersey state taxes. Just in general, tax reform. We hear it all the time. One of the reasons that John Boehner had to leave, one of the reasons that Kevin McCarthy allegedly had to leave, is because they've done nothing about tax reform, and the voters were revolting, and the conservative caucus was revolting. And so here we are again. We're hearing that Congress is finally going to do something. We hear that these candidates running for president are finally going to do something. Do you hold out any hope that they are going to do something?
Well, I think that would be optimistic. You know, we all hope for it. Every time there's an election, we, rally around the candidates that tell us what we want to hear. The reality of the situation is with taxes, it's a complicated subject and you can't view it in a vacuum. You have to look broader. The politicians love when we just view it in a vacuum and talk about it as though it was some simple thing that you can press over here and have a benefit over there. Reality of the situation is that we don't look out far enough into the future. We do our budgets on an annual basis. There should be a 5-year budget, rolling budget, so that you're looking out and adjust. It's no different. I know, the argument is that government is not like your personal income and your household and things of that nature. But the reality of the situation is we never really get into it. There needs to be, we need to hold the politicians accountable for establishing the priorities and then determining if we are in fact meeting those priorities in the proper order.
And your organization was founded exactly for that purpose.
Exactly. It's not perfect because, we're sort of trying to push the immovable object. But the reality of the situation is all of the people who benefit from these expenditures have their own special interest groups that are funded by large budgets in many cases, and the taxpayer doesn't typically have that situation.
The cynic in me thinks that politicians really don't want to fix the tax code because they make their money for their campaigns and their super PACs from special interest and corporations that give them money, and the way they pay them back, and we don't usually find out about it, is to change the tax code. Is that fair?
Politics is an expensive industry, and it's dependent upon getting the monies into the coffers to be able to go out and do campaigns and things of that nature. Where do those monies come from? They don't come from our taxes per se. They come from the special interest groups who benefit, who then in turn contribute back into the political process.
We don't have a lot of time, but I do want to talk about New Jersey because we broadcast to 4 states, but New Jersey is by far the worst when it comes to taxes. And it's not just me saying that, it's almost every survey says that. They're near the bottom. I recently went to a symposium for the Chamber of Commerce down in Atlantic City. And they talked about the best way to get businesses to come here is to do something about the taxes. The taxes are too onerous. Businesses are going to leave. People are going to leave. And very soon the tax base is going to get cut. It's a catch-22. We have to keep raising taxes just to keep up. But when I talked to the politicians, they said really nothing can be done.
Exactly. That's sort of, I've gone to town hall meetings when I first started the organization, and everybody was, it's not my fault, it's out of my control. I can't do anything about it. And my response is, well, then why are you sitting there? If they're not going to do what we know needs to be done, common sense comes into play on these situations. You can't continue to borrow. Tax and spend, borrow and spend, same difference.
But when you have a deficit, how can you say I'm going to cut taxes too?
Well, the point being is, that the 34%, should we be spending 34% on education, or could we cut some of those dollars and pay off some of the debt and maybe fill a few more potholes? These are the decisions that, it's so complex and so big, but the reality of the situation is you can't resolve it with continuing to throw out platitudes and rhetoric.
Well, taxes will always be an issue, so I hope you come back and we can talk about some specific taxes. Thank you so much. Jerry Cantrell, the president of the New Jersey Taxpayers Alliance. When we come back, Halloween is just around the corner. What are the hottest costumes for the little ones? We've got some models that'll show you coming up next.
What's hot this year, and what does your costume say about you?